Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm really glad you're here today, because what I'm about to share is more than just a love story. It's a story of dedication, danger, heartache, and endurance. Today's episode follows the emotional story of LT manager Diep and CEO James, a couple from two very different backgrounds who are brought together by the trials of pain and passion. Not long ago, a rare moment of happiness lit up James's home. Diep was pregnant with her second child. The doctor hinted that it might be a girl, a hope the whole family had secretly harbored. James's mother, despite her commitments, rushed back to the family mansion, leaving her youngest child with her husband, just to take care of Diep during the early months of her pregnancy. She did not return empty-handed. She brought with her a precious diamond necklace, a symbol of blessing and love for the woman who had sacrificed so much for their family. Meanwhile, James was always by Diep's side. He took her from her uncle's house to the mansion, determined to give her rest, shelter, and peace. And for a while, everything felt safe. Little did they know, danger was lurking nearby. John, James' arch-nemesis, had never really gone away, he had simply gone silent. And now, he knew Diep was pregnant. His agents had followed her to the hospital, gathering information. John's reaction? A smirk. Cold, hesitant. In his mind, this child was James' weakness. And where there is weakness, there is opportunity. Meanwhile, James had only noticed small changes in Diep: restlessness, anxiety. He assumed they were just normal mood swings during pregnancy. But he had no idea that a trap was being quietly set. After weeks of being locked in the mansion, Diep longed for sunlight, for freedom. She missed her old home. One morning, she gently put her hand in James and said, "I just want to see our garden again. Come with me." And then they walked on. The house was overgrown but familiar. Weeds grew wildly on the paths, dust covered the flower pots, but Diep's eyes were still bright. Together, they cleaned the garden. They fed the chickens. They trimmed the vegetables. They laughed in the sunshine. For the first time in weeks, Diep was radiant again. On the way home, as they passed a roadside market, Diep's eyes lit up. Lychee. She gasped. The fruit stand was sparkling with clusters of bright red fruit. Pregnancy cravings were aroused. James, ever cautious, was about to step outside. But Diep stopped him. Just a few steps. "I'll be fine. Just stay in the car." He hesitated, but her smile convinced him. She stepped outside, bought a bag of lychees, turned around and waved happily to James. The engine roared. From down the street, a motorbike shot forward, fast, merciless. "Diep!" James screamed, but it was too late. The impact was horrific. She was thrown into the air. Lychees splattered like blood on the sidewalk. People screamed. The driver drove away, not stopping, not looking back. James rushed to her side. She was unconscious. Blood was flowing. A pool of red blood was smeared across her dress. There was no time. James picked her up and drove like a man possessed, weaving through red lights, honking his horn, panic and despair in every breath. At the hospital, doctors rushed her into surgery. James waited, his hands shaking, his heart breaking with guilt. Two agonizing hours passed. Then the words came, "We saved your wife. But we couldn't save the baby." The weight of those words was like a hammer blow. Their baby, gone before they could hold her. When Diep woke up, she instinctively touched her belly. The tumor was gone. "Where's our baby, James?" she whispered. He was almost speechless. "She's gone, Diep. I am so sorry." Her scream echoed through the room. And in that moment, they were no longer CEOs and managers, just grieving parents, mourning a lost dream. James was devastated, but the pain gave way to relief. This wasn't an accident. It was an attack. The next day, he visited nearby stores, reviewed security footage. And finally, a clue. A black motorcycle. A blurred license plate. With the help of a friend in international intelligence, James confirmed the truth. The license plate was fake. The driver was masked. The attack was targeted. All signs pointed to John, the man who had lost to James in business, now emerging from the shadows. James didn't say much, but his eyes burned with a quiet anger. "He targeted my wife. My child. He won't get away with it." When Diep was discharged, James took her back to the cottage. But nothing was the same. It had been cleaned, restored, warmly lit from within. James's mother had done everything, sweeping, cooking, even feeding the chickens. A noblewoman who had done things she had never done before in her life, just to make Diep feel at home. That night, as they sat down to dinner, simple soup, stir-fried vegetables, warm dessert, Diep ate quietly. It wasn't just the food. It was the healing. And though the pain was still there, for the first time, Diep smiled without tears. That night, after Diep had fallen asleep, James sat alone in the dim light. The sound of the motorbike still echoed in his ears. He clenched his fists. "This wasn't an accident," he whispered. "This was an execution." John had gone too far. And now, James will stop at nothing. He will gather every piece of evidence, call every helper, use every connection, not for revenge, but for justice. Because some losses never go away. Some wounds never heal, and some battles are personal. Will James uncover the full extent of John's plot? Will justice be served for the unborn child who never had a chance to live? And can love survive when grief becomes a part of everyday life? Join us for the next chapter, where truth meets consequence.